Hey there, Solar Bears fans. Jesse Liebman here, joining us on Zoom virtually. Goaltender Michael Lackey, one of the latest additions to the Orlando Solar Bears for the 2020-21 season. Michael, you come to us by way of Providence College, where you spent the past season as a graduate transfer. Before then, you were at Harvard University completing your undergrad. But before we get into the hockey, let's get to know a little bit about you right now. You're from the DC area, but as I understand it, you're kind of making your summer during the quarantine out on Cape Cod. So what's that been like? How have these last few months been for you dealing with what we've all been dealing with, the worldwide coronavirus pandemic?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And I'm excited to get the season started. But yeah, as soon as quarantine hit and playoffs got canceled, we came out to the Cape. Not many people are out here. We figured it was a good spot. Um, Basically, I've been here. I've been skating and lifting on island ever since the season ended. And I usually spend summers in Mass. So I'm figuring out a way to spend the last couple months in mainland Mass around Marlborough. But it's been relaxing. It's not the worst spot to spend quarantine.
Certainly not. You've been there for a few months. Are you by yourself, or are you with anyone,
I'm
or
with my family.
family? Okay, excellent. You guys have a little summer home there on the Cape, or awesome. So, as we said, you just wrapped up your graduate transfer season at Providence College. When did it become apparent to you? I know that you've attended some NHL development camps in the past before. Uh, you've received invites from Buffalo, Chicago, and I believe Washington, if memory serves correct. At what point in your career did you feel that you could begin to maybe target a professional career as a goaltender?
I think that started my sophomore year. I was at Exeter for boarding school, and I started to talk to Division I schools. And then that spring, I got invited to 40-man camp for the national team development program. Played with some great players there. So that whole experience, and then the next 2 years, junior and senior year, playing at the program. Obviously, a bunch of great players on my team ended up playing in the NHL. And just being in that environment, that's something I really enjoyed, and realized that it was something that I wanted to pursue.
Now you've got some championship experience under your belt. You've got a few gold medals from your time with the U.S. National Development Program. What was that experience like for you, competing internationally and representing the red, white, and blue?
Yeah, it was awesome. It's a great experience, especially at that age. Just wearing the U.S. on your chest, yeah. Understanding that you're playing for something bigger than just the team. You're playing for the country, and how you carry yourself, not even just on the ice, but off the ice as well, when you're wearing the USA on your chest. It meant a lot.
You played for some pretty impressive coaches during your time in the college ranks, both at Harvard under Ted Donato and at Providence College last season. What were some of those lessons that you were able to take and learn from your college experience as you prepared to make that jump to the pros?
I think the biggest lesson is the highs are never as high as you think they are, and the lows are never as low as you think they are. Just staying level-headed, just staying on course, and not overreacting to anything, whether it's a good event or a bad event. Just staying mentally stable.
For you, how would you describe your overall style as a goaltender? I know the position has evolved over the years, and a lot of teams have become more specialized in having goaltending development coaches and for additional supplemental instruction. How would you say your style functions, and how has it evolved over the last few years in college?
I would say, you don't really have the categorization of, stand up and butterfly goalies nowadays, because everyone's a butterfly goalie. But I would say, I'm 6'4", so I'm on the taller side as a goalie. And I'd like to consider myself athletic. So, using my size and athleticism, to compete, just every single puck, whether it's in practice or a game. So in regards to style, I'd just say, scrappy, but a bigger goalie. And then what was the second half? What was the
how has your style evolved over the last 4 years or so?
Yeah. I would say just playing in more games, especially once you get to the college level, just mentally preparing and, physically, just so you can be at the same level every single game, night in, night out. Like I said earlier, that was the biggest lesson that I learned is, your highs are never as high as they are. Lows are never as low. Just saying mentally stable, whether you give up a goal early or you have a shutout, just keeping the same consistency with, mental preparation and mental training.
You had some pretty impressive moments last season with Providence College. I guess the one that kind of stood out to me was you upsetting the number 2 ranked time in the country, Cornell, at the Fortress Invitational in Las Vegas for Providence. And they ended up finishing the season as the number 1 ranked team overall in the nation. What was that experience like, playing in that invitational tournament at T-Mobile Arena in Vegas?
Yeah, that was awesome. It was the champion game. All 4 teams are now, and West Point, and all great teams. I think Coach Lehman said that it felt like a regional tournament because all the teams were there, all the games were so close, and all the teams were doing so well at that point of the season. But yeah, no, that was an awesome experience. We got to play Cornell in the championship. It went to a shootout, and I think that's my first shootout that I've won. I think I'm 1 for 1 now, but no, it was definitely nice considering the fact that was for the trophy too.
So as the season ultimately wound down and got cut short due to the coronavirus pandemic, at that point, I would have to imagine you and your family and your, I guess, agent/family advisor probably would turn the page and begin thinking, all right, what is the next step? At what point did the Solar Bears enter the conversation, and what convinced you that this would be a good fit for you to begin your professional career?
Yeah, I think my advisor mentioned, because I had a teammate who played for the Solar Bears, Braden Jaw from Harvard, for the remainder of the season after he signed, and he had nothing but great things to say. And so I brought it up with my advisor, who knew the coaches, and that, I think, conversation started in early July, and talked to the coaches, talked to my advisor, nothing but great things. So it made the decision relatively easy, considering, with all the COVID chaoticness during free agency, once it came down to it, it was a relatively easy decision.
Well, Michael, certainly fans looking forward to having a solid goaltender between the pipes. You certainly were able to do that the last 2 years, both with Harvard and Providence, and really establish yourself in the conversation for some of the better goaltenders on the East Coast in the college ranks. As you prepare to make that jump, what sort of training and preparation are you making prior to arriving for training camp?
Yeah, I think, just first of all, getting back and leading, I was working on with my goalie coach at Providence throughout the season, continuing to build off of that. And also what I said is continuing to build off my mental training that I've had over the last couple of years. Because I think it was Mike Tyson said, you can train all you want, but as soon as you get punched in the face, everything goes out the window. It's kind of the same thing. As soon as you give up a goal, you could train and do all the have the best physical form, but as soon as you give up a goal, it's how you react and move forward from that. So those are going to be my focus.
Absolutely. Michael Lackey joining us here virtually on Zoom, the latest signing for the Orlando Solar Bears for the 2020-21 season, and the first goaltender that the Solar Bears have officially added. Michael, as has become tradition with these Zoom meetings that we've been able to hold with all the players, either returning or new signings, we want to give this last opportunity for you to give a shout out to anyone that you care to mention, or any final thought you'd like to add before we let you go. So have at it.
No, I'm just excited. I'm excited to get the season started. Hockey got cut short, so I'm excited to get it going again.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michael. We look forward to seeing you at training camp this fall.
Yeah, thanks for having me.